Welcome back to the Tailosive Tech Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we're joined again with Mike and Randy. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing a lot better than I was about an hour and a half ago.
Sounds
Ladies
right.
and gentlemen.
I apologize for the later post. This Tech Podcast is intentionally going to be posted later than usual for obvious reasons.
For obvious reasons. And I just want to say, with all sincerity, now that we got it out and we recorded our EV podcast first, and that is a doozy. If you're watching this, if you're watching it, you see it. But listeners, the Tailosive man himself of all things tech and EV is finally in the Ultimate Tech and EV crossover collaboration of his own caliber. So congratulations, everybody. Congratulate him. Leave comments
Thank
on the
you.
podcast app saying congrats. Leave comments on the YouTube video, congrats. And if you haven't seen the podcast for EV, go over to the channel. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. No shame in that because now we need to pay for this car.
Yeah.
I'm joking. Just joking.
Me and Randy.
It's-
not
Yes.
true. Me and Randy.
Just you two. That's right. You got to figure it out. I think the car just went to sleep as well, which I've never seen.
Wake that up. We need to get this. We need to get monetized on that one because this will be the second time that I'm not getting paid for my work. Welcome back to Tech, everybody.
Well,
How's everybody doing?
I think today, of all days, it's perfect for you guys to be on the show because Mike is a StarLink customer and Randy is a T-Mobile customer. So we've got some pretty exciting updates to cover that SpaceX and T-Mobile just announced. Does this make you guys... well, I guess Randy probably just feels even more reaffirmed in his mobile provider. Does it make you think about switching, Mike, to become like 100% Starlink powered?
It's funny because it's kind of come at a time where right now we're under Verizon. We're not really happy with the bill, and we've been looking already in the last few months for a new provider. And so we've been swayed by a lot of the positive words that you've had about Mint. And then Nick's talked about Visible in the past as well. So it's like, well, we could go for one of those. And then it's like, well, T-Mobile's not bad either. I mean, we see that becoming a giant company. Maybe we shouldn't support this giant company that's like extended beyond what Verizon AT&T could probably do. But apparently not. Well, even more at this point now that they're able to reach past into the stars in a way, or I guess to wherever you want to go, is insane.
That was beautiful,
Yeah.
Mike.
So
beautiful.
we might just
stars.
do that, so that way we're covered by Starlink both at home and wherever else we go. Even though that we could technically just take our dish wherever we want and not really worry. But I guess at the same time, we're not really taking the dish everywhere. Especially like, oh yeah, we're just gonna go up to the in-laws' place up in Northern California and all that. Like, why would we take the dish? It doesn't make sense, but it would make sense to have that coverage or that ability to have coverage with a T-Mobile connection, being able just to hold the phone up and what do you know, you get a signal through whatever frequency that they use for that satellite connection from the satellite to the phone. So I'm pretty much looking at options. I want to see if I could get a pretty good quote now, and I might just be swayed enough to go to T-Mobile, but I'm not going to go quick. Knowing that they're a very big company, gonna take my time with trying to research a lot of that info there. Maybe I'll listen to some of the better phone plan guys and their opinions on it, and
they're good.
Go from there. Or maybe if it comes to Mint eventually, that would be nice to go with something a little bit more affordable, but still have that same capability of using satellite connectivity wherever we go to make a text message.
Yeah. I think that'd be interesting to see that transition, since we're kind of transitioning you away from Windows and more to Mac hardware based on last week's show. And now now in the T-Mobile direction as well.
My goodness, the indoctrination.
I'm a very, very proud, unapologetic, happy T-Mobile customer. And it's not because they sent me free stuff either. That's cool, but I moved away from AT&T and I had AT&T was my first. Well, actually, no, that's not true. My technically very, very first line ever was on T-Mobile, and it was bad. And then when I got my first smartphone, which was iPhone 3G, I got AT&T because that was the only one that was doing it. And I had the actual, what they would call back then, the unlimited plan. And I went so far of holding on to AT&T that I went through the wave of when unlimited was the thing to there's no unlimited data to now because of T-Mobile having unlimited brought everyone else back to unlimited again. I held on to AT&T for so long, paying ungodly amount of money for it, that when I finally moved over to T-Mobile at the beginning of 2017, I never looked back. Every Tuesday you get the T-Mobile Tuesday thing, and that's just cool, fun, extra perk stuff that I take advantage of. There's always something. There's something free that's always given out, and it's kind of promo-y.
I don't get those though. That's the bummer. Home internet doesn't
Mint.
count.
Yeah, Mint doesn't count. You are paying,
but I'm a T-Mobile customer, just not on the phone.
Not on the phone.
Well,
T-Mobile Tuesday has to be with. You're T-Mobile, but you're more like.
You're on this council.
But we do not grant you the rank of you're. I wouldn't put you T-Mobile. You're more like T-Home.
T-Home.
You're not T-Mobile.
Shouldn't be
You're
called
T-Home.
T-Mobile, huh? Just T-Home.
You're T-Home.
But I think Elon got confused because he thought the T in T-Mobile stood for Twitter, so he was like, T.
This is how I get in.
This is how I get Twitter, right? This is how it works.
This is how.
But
that's not tech
I am
related.
happy with Mint, though. I gotta be honest.
Mm.
I don't know if the StarLink would convince me to ditch Mint.
I have no intention of adjusting my Magenta Max plan.
Okay.
But, and I saw you kind of allude to this possibly as well, Drew. I did not watch the announcement, by the way. I just watched a recap of it. I was like, that's quicker.
I figured.
Yeah.
Elon events are always sketchy,
Yeah, and I'm like, nah.
There's usually glass that's breaking, people
I
asking
know
for
what
kisses.
I'm
The rocket
getting
launches
when I
while
watch-
the crowd is right next to it.
Yeah. No, I know what I'm getting when I'm watching Drew, and I'm like, all right, this is a reliable source of information in a way that I can digest it. Let me see what Drew has to say. And
Oh, stop.
no, stop
You want a
it.
cookie?
I want to ride in your new Tesla.
Okay. That can happen.
Now the reversed have roles. You now have to drive me around.
How the turntables.
So, yeah, if they roll, excuse me, not roll. You got me thinking about it. If they bring it to pre-existing plans on 5G that have to do with like Magenta Max, and that's how I get StarLink. Cool, no harm, no foul. I don't really care one way or the other. If it's something you have to kind of opt into, or if it's like a check, like in the T-Mobile app, you have all these add-ons that you just kind of check. Some of them are free, some are not. But if it's just like a check, done, cool. If I check and I have to pay $2 more a month, I'm not paying 50 cents more a month. I'm not paying anything for it because it's not targeted to me. But other people, I mean, what prime example? I think this is public. Cut this out if it's not. Seriously. But Mike, we know that there's no signal there. So having StarLink on your phone at Mike's house is like, oh, thank God. If there's an emergency, I can at least attend to that, or vice versa. If inbound or outbound. But I'm actually more interested, not about what's going to happen in the next year. I'm more interested in what this will do in the next, 72 months, 96 months. What that bigger, kind of scaling out in the 2020s, what that's going to kind of do, because it might be a proprietary partnership, exclusive partnership with T-Mobile and StarLink. But
I saw some people mentioning that T-Mobile, I think, has sole ownership over this frequency.
For now.
They might rent it out in the future to other carriers. It definitely seems like they would if it becomes like one of the only ways for this technology to work.
Yeah.
Is through T-Mobile and their frequency. But I love this announcement, not only because it will probably save lives, just objectively. There will be tons of situations where people will now have signal when they used to not have signal. That's huge. But it also squashes a ton of long-running rumors and bugs, not bugs, rumors and leaks surrounding, Tesla's going to make a phone,
That's
or,
right.
you know, the iPhone 14 is going to have this satellite feature, and it's like, no, everybody gets the feature. It's not like you need some kind of proprietary hardware for this to work. It will literally work with existing. It's basically just a cell tower flying through the sky. It's no longer a tower, but it's emitting it's emitting similar frequencies that a cell tower would, so your phone won't know the difference. A lot of people were like tagging me on Twitter afterwards, like, well, maybe they have to like boost the modem on the phone in order to capture the signal. I'm like, no, it's like a normal cell signal, which blew my mind. I did not realize they could do that from space. I thought they needed direct line of sight through a terminal, and you were going to need a different modem or something on a phone in order to capture that. But they're saying, no, it just works with existing hardware, which is pretty insane.
No, I believe our phones already have this capability, because if I'm getting this right, if you dial 911 in an area that doesn't have cell coverage, you will still get a 911 operator. There is some connection or handoff that is done through there, whether it's through LTE, 5G, or whatever. I mean, it's probably done before 5G, so I'd say LTE and 4G and all that, we're capable of it. So it doesn't. This announcement doesn't necessarily surprise me. I was thinking maybe more on the lines of T-Mobile. I think maybe what your prediction was, Drew, of T-Mobile adding on StarLink terminals to cell towers in a way, or at least erecting these business-sized StarLink panels in certain areas, because it's some partnership there. But instead, it's a lot better of a solution of, well, wherever you are, your phone will get coverage in the case of an emergency, or I guess later down the line, you don't even need to have an emergency. Maybe you're just walking in the middle of South Dakota where there's no coverage, and you want to take a picture of a sheep and send it to your friend. There you go. Your friend has a picture of a sheep from the middle of South Dakota where there's no coverage, but there is now.
The picture will probably take a while to send, though. So
probably, but you still
it's
can.
It's going to be very low data. It's possible, but yeah, it's better to have slow internet than no internet. Although I've heard Marquez say otherwise. Some people said it's better to just have no signal. Not if you're like dying and need help, or you're in an emergency, but I just kept thinking of movies where people didn't have service.
Was it 127 hours, or I forget what the specific movie is, but it's one of the guy who's got his arm stuck in the boulder.
127 hours.
My arm's stuck in between the rock wall, and someone will reply, "You knew this was coming, Pete." Something like that.
Reply with lol.
Lol. Lol, sorry about that. Just, I don't know if they would have had a different outcome. They probably just could have numbed his arm a bit more. But yeah,
they could have made it a lot more pleasant.
So many stories will change because of this tech. So that was pretty exciting.
Yeah. I went on T-Mobile's website to see if they were even talking about it. Nothing on the front page. So
yeah,
I think there's too much to advertise, really, because it's not going to be for a while until this happens.
Yeah.
And even so,
stock is down.
They need the V2 satellites.
Of course the stock is down. It's all emotional.
Oh my God. T-Mobile's working with Elon. Sell the stock.
He's going to buy it. No.
Oh no. Now he's going to buy Twitter, Tesla, T-Mobile, Taylosip. I'm not supposed to talk about that. All of the
NDA
T's.
Gone.
This is the T.
Here's the
scoop.
T. Listen, here's the T. You're going to buy.
On top of that announcement, in minor news here, I guess there was an Apple event announced this week.
Oh my goodness.
Little
2 weeks.
Little side note.
Oh man.
This makes me excited. It actually happened on the very same day that... Was it the same day? I think it was. The same day that my phone froze again for 2 minutes straight. And...
I approached... 2 minutes.
Right? It was like... I wasn't doing anything crazy. I was on Google Maps at work. So fine cell coverage. Wasn't hot. Prime air conditioning.
Google Maps.
Yeah, apparently Google Maps. That was the mistake, even though it's frozen on Apple Maps as well in the past. But looking at something on Google Maps and then just can't swipe, can't do anything. Hold down buttons, hold down up or the volume up and volume down button, hold down the power button, press them multiple times, do all the different combinations. Didn't help.
Still nothing?
Just it restarted itself after 2 minutes and then it acted as if nothing ever happened. So this announcement, which by the way has a pretty cool banner, only makes me more excited for my next phone, in which I don't know. It couldn't come any sooner, or it should. It could come. It could come sooner. But I'm glad that we finally have an announcement.
Yeah. Me too. It's an early event.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Why is
You're
that a
gonna
problem?
be traveling, huh?
Oh, right. Yeah.
I'll be in San Diego. I don't know how I'm gonna wing this. I haven't missed an event. I don't plan on missing this one, but I don't know how I can navigate the logistics of doing a recap. It might just be off of that we've done podcasts straight from the onboard mic and webcam, and that might be no different.
I'm still doing it.
You're still doing it, yeah. I might have to do that. I'm gonna figure that one out. I'm like, hey, Randy, today we're gonna go. No, we're not. No, but we're gonna go see your friends. You're not gonna see then they're not my friends if they can't wait.
But they're busy because of their baby or another.
Oh, are these the same friends that said they were gonna come visit me, but then didn't? Yeah, they can wait 2 hours. They can wait 2 hours. They're fine.
Yeah, I don't even think this will be a 2-hour event. I mean, there's 2 products mostly not confirmed, but highly likely to be announced, and everything else is up in the air. So,
iPhone Watch iPhones. And home stuff.
Oh, that's right.
It'd be nice to see their set again on the home. I love seeing their weird take on like a modern house.
I love it. Unironically, I think it's a cool home. I think it's a dope little. Here's what it looks like. Kids, the food's ready. The food's ready.
And they spent a lot of money on that set, so they gotta milk it. They gotta work it into as many
big
keynotes
bucks
as
from
possible.
that Apple TV Productions, budget, I guess.
They'll start putting. Ted Lasso will just suddenly buy a house that's like half missing a wall. Like, oh, I guess this is my house now.
It was half off.
It'll be like from the Umbrella Academy, basically. Just there's a scene in there where they're dancing and the whole mansion's like cut in half. It'll just be that, but Ted Lasso.
Yes, just
it
like
should
that.
Be more sitcom-y, the way they used to, do like I don't know, How I Met Your Mother, or Friends, or whatever. Just here's the half and just move throughout the whole house, and there you go.
Exactly.
No,
so, I don't see why not. But did you guys think there's any hints in that invite, or do you think it's purely just marketing? We wanted it to look cool.
Astrophotography.
I've heard both in the comments.
That's all I got from it is we can take better photos of stars. I don't think it necessarily confirms a telephoto lens or anything specific of being able to get, I don't know, a certain sensor that wasn't there before. Maybe there is, but just the fact I don't think it's an inspiration of just like the James Webb Space Telescope. I think they wouldn't do that. That they'd probably point it towards their product because they're very much vain as a company, trying to promote what they're doing, and they like teasing stuff. So I would say, at the least, there's going to be some improved astrophotography.
Okay, interesting. What's your takeaway? Well, Randy's thinking right now, so I want to just let Mike know that was my thought as well when I watched. When I was seeing the invite, there's probably going to be a improved night mode or something. And then a bunch of people corrected me and said that the new iPhone 14 is actually rumored to have a larger megapixel sensor, which actually could perform worse at night mode. And there were a lot of people theorizing. I don't know if I believe them, but they're claiming that because of this larger sensor, basically the megapixels themselves are smaller because we're going from like 12 to 48. So because of that lower megapixel count, they were struggling to get the camera to perform as well at night. Maybe they can compensate it with computational photography, but that seeing people suggest that or say that actually it's going to be worse at night mode is like, then why would they put nighttime stuff in the invite? Wouldn't you want to like, let's not talk about night mode for a minute, you know? Let's talk about other things. And but let's hear it.
So there's no way on God's green and blue earth will they launch something that's worse than last year's iPhone. There's just no way. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So
like 3D touch or the headphone jack or
not going to happen. Not with their bread and butter, the camera. We talk about the camera every single year. The reason why I keep upgrading like a jerk is because of the freaking camera, you know? It's so good. And I think it's something actually else. Something that is proprietary to iPhone 14 Pros only. I don't know what that something is. I can't tell you that it's and the answer is boom. It's not that. What I believe is if we're increasing the pixel or the megapixel count here, that means smaller sensor, unless they do the ungodly, you know, now it takes up even a bigger, which, you know, for all things considering, we have a general idea of what these iPhones are going to look like, and you know,
big bump.
I think just because we might lose the size of the, you know, so with if this is the footprint we're working with, this circle, and right now it's 12 megapixels, and now we're going to go to 48, and you're still working with the same footprint, maybe slightly bigger, it is going to be smaller, which means less light. Remember when we were talking talking about how Apple was going to fix the camera problem? We were talking about this almost a year ago, and we kind of all got it wrong of what we thought, and we realized the secret lies within the software. And
not me.
That's what. Well, you weren't there, so.
Well, no, the secret lies within me, not within the software. Within me.
The
It was all me all along.
Me too. I think the software is Apple's secret sauce to all things. I mean, you look at iOS 16 right now and how it could just outline and pull subjects or item, whatever, and that's just something that all these phones can do. And now with more like detail or sharpness, with more, you know, megapixels, that I think we're going to see something software related. It has to do with the camera, because it's always with the camera. That has something to do with post processing anything, video or cinematic features. And I don't mean cinematic mode. I mean, like, what if they were able to capture a better time lapse at night, and even though you're shaking the camera so it's kind of wobbling, it knows how to hold it in place, and it like, there's something software wise that's doing all this extra work. Maybe that's how they'll justify LiDAR once again, about why we got it on there. And the result will end up being a better nighttime night mode photography, but that's not what their intent was with it. Like, ultimate, like, imagine that what we're all really working towards with LiDAR and all this data and is that, like, oh, because one day we're going to launch these headsets or these Apple glasses or these whatever, and so these are all just, you know, byproducts of that, and we're able to trickle that type of tech into these other products. But I think that night mode itself is too obvious, because I was pleasantly surprised with the cameras last year, that all the cameras got with cinematic mode,
yeah.
and all that stuff. We are going to get something like that again this year, because they have to justify the upgrade. They have to. Even something that might even be hardware technically capable, on just the regular 14s and the 13s or 13 Pros or whatever, they have to justify why you go from a 13 to a 14. There is something proprietary. There is something like cinematic mode, but maybe less with the actual hardware itself, and something to do with the fact that, well, with the whole new whatever, we can now do, and with especially with the pros. Pros are the ones that are getting the new chips. So, allegedly, if the pros are only getting new chips, they have to justify the upgrade. Something tangible, lifetime, that someone next door at everyone's house and yourself can all be like, yeah, this looks cool. This makes sense. Something that's more appropriate than just cinematic mode. I don't know what that something is, and I just think night mode is just a byproduct of it. It's too simple. There's something with that.
I have a theory that might fit with your theory, which is something I think they could have done a long time ago. Like, they could have done it now, but they probably thought it was so cool that they pocketed it and said, let's save it for a future upgrade. That way they can use some marketing tactic with the lenses. Well, this requires focus pixels, or this requires astro mode, and we only have that on the 14 lenses, and we can't put it on the 13 lenses. It'll have some weird thing, but the mode is going to be using night mode with time lapse at the same time, which is something I've been wanting for a long time. Like, when you take time lapse pictures on the phone now, they can't be long exposure, but if you're doing a multi-hour or even just a 1 hour time lapse, you have plenty of time to make long exposure shots. You could make every one of those shots. Usually it's going to be on a tripod. Yeah. So you could do 30 seconds of letting that light bleed in to make a really good shot of the night sky. And maybe with the lenses being a bit wider, they can soak in a tad more light with this generation. But that's something I think that would make for great demo if they showcased, the ultra wide views of like the galaxy going by over time, and StarLink satellites flying by, and all the light streaks and stuff, and just nighttime lapse. Is that it? Nighttime lapse is I think a feature that they could pull out of their
pull
out of their butts really
lapse. Quick. Night mode panoramic.
Night time lapse. That's what I'd call it.
Night time lapse. Let me take it a step further. What if, because of whatever with these new sensors and blah 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 and all that stuff, that you can go and post photo and video, bring the video to the pros and only photo for the regular 14s. You can go and post shot at night and actually have software integration of like it removes virtually all graininess. You can even manipulate lighting. Where, like, for right now, I'm filming. You guys see me. I have a ring light that's right here, and if I go like that, like, you see the shadow that's right there. And at night, it's struggling. Everything gets blown out, washed out, and colors aren't accurate. When you have like long exposures that are happening with night mode, what if you can go in, post photo of it, and all this data that it just took from that at night, it can actually, like, you can now go as far as say, you know what, I want this picture to look like it was done in the day, and there's like a tack, and it just like pops it to daylight. Wow. because
that would be crazy.
Let me tell you where my headspace is at. What happens right here on my phone right now about doing just this video, people watching this, I can go in and just go boom.
Right.
Like that. Studio light is now on. And then boom. I got bokeh now, right? And it just does this naturally in live time. And this is on a 13. Something like this is going to be done way more efficiently with anything that's in post and maybe in live time. But you have it like this normally, which I hate now because I just saw the difference. Boom. Now you just completely manipulated the lighting. I think something post photography or videography, we get something like this that has to do with night mode. And I think what's really selling it right here is because it lights up my face here, and the background is now dark. And now the light where you saw the ring light before is not as noticeable as it was right here. And it's all
That's a good
software.
One. That's a good theory.
That's where my head, like, it's something that because we're not in the team, so we don't know. I can't believe I turned off studio light, by the way. Hi, welcome. I went all EV
I was
without
offended.
it. I feel offended, but
You did look uglier than
we
you
could not
usually did.
anticipate. Wow. No, that's just my face.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. So anyway, I can't pinpoint what it is, and I'm grasping here, but if this is what we could do right now on beta with an old, technically last year's phone, why not take what's happening right here and just expand on that in a way that has to do with nighttime?
You're right, because Apple likes to bring things that are already on other products and just say, we're bringing that to this now. So in the same way that we've had studio lighting options with portrait mode photography, they could bring that to cinematic mode. Now you have, contour. Now you have stage light.
Oh, that'd be so
light
cool.
Mono. Imagine you could film someone and they just have a completely white background behind them, and that's all just post-processing.
When designing the new iPhone, you want
You
to
could
make sure...
pretend you're Johnny Ive in the white abyss.
Dude!
Here, I'll take that a step further, and then I want to see if Mike would use any of these for any reason. It's an idea I was thinking of that I'm not sure. It's a solution looking for a problem. But what if they bring subject
Apple.
lift to videos?
Oh my God!
So we have
Yes!
pictures, right? You find a picture and there's a subject and you can lift them out. Now it's transparent. What if you took a video and you were just like, I want to lift the subject,
Dude.
but I still want it to move?
That's so possible because that's what cinematic mode is basically doing with the background.
Yeah, it would basically be the subject lift feature, like 24 times a second or 30 times a second, I guess, depending on what. Maybe it requires.
And then next year will be 60.
But like, who would use that though? Like, what's the point of that?
Green screen. And you want to? You know what? I'm in space.
Look,
like,
I'm in
shot
New
on
York
iPhone, baby.
Avengers and all that.
Hey guys, I got my Model 3.
There you.
Yeah,
that,
it's a good green
Drew's
screen I
been
got with me
demoing
today.
it the whole time.
Can you imagine
Surprise,
if
suckers.
I did that? Like, we recorded the whole show and then I turned it off. And you guys were like,
I would chop you in your throat. I'd just be like, you lied to me again. You lied to me twice.
I guess you're right. People could use subject lift for videos. Huh.
That's what it. I mean, you do it for the same reason we blur out background. You do it to just add character to your FaceTime calls, and it's Memoji, but practical and better, and not on you, but everything else, and you can manipulate it.
Not
I mean,
practical. I use it 24
you can
hours
have
a day.
Way more. Not only do I think that's going to happen, Drew, but think about how they do that on TikToks already. But now make it actually good.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Kind of like how face filters were already a thing for Snapchat and Messenger, but then Apple came out with Face ID, and they were like, but now it uses the power of the True Depth camera system, so this is way, way better and more capable and all that. So
Yeah.
that's what Apple's great at, right? Iteration. They're not innovating, they're iterating, and they're repackaging things that already exist but making it more approachable and usually refining it and making a better version of it. The Apple Watch was not the first smartwatch by a long shot,
No.
but it is the best watch.
It's the only one that matters.
Right.
Somehow it became
And
the
I
one to
don't-
beat.
That's right. They're so common. Oh my god, just
Like
seeing them
iPads.
walking around in
I see
public, they're
tablets,
everywhere.
sure. But the tablets I see are, dude, oh my God, guys. Oh, wow, that's a thing. I know someone who has a Galaxy S7 tablet. Am I saying that right? Is that the thing?
S7 tab,
Yeah.
right?
I know somebody who has that tablet.
You sounded like a 50-year-old English teacher when you said, "Am I?"
Is that what the kids are saying?
Tab S7.
Yo, on me, yo, no cap. That be bussin' sheesh. Am I saying that right, guys?
That phone is fire.
When he drops that new
Literally?
mixtape, fire.
The
I am
S7
literally
tab
right
is
now.
on fire.
Literally.
Literally. Yeah.
So,
No, I think you said it right though.
yeah, that's a thing. And I was like, Why hold on to that? To which the response was, surprise, surprise, my mother-in-law. Okay, so we just cleared the air about. Why do you have that? It doesn't get.
Returning bit is on this show. Check
What?
in
She
with
already has the
Randy's
fold.
mother-in-law.
Oh my God! You guys are gonna meet her. You guys are gonna meet her next week.
Wow, putting a face to the phone and the tablet apparently.
To the
No, you're gonna see how
finally
like how
face to the phone.
you're gonna meet my mom for God's. Oh my God! You're gonna meet the person who says I'm better than everyone else.
I'm so excited.
I'm not. I'm
gonna
this
meet
weird.
your mom and I'm gonna be like, "What's the most embarrassing thing Randy's ever done? Tell us now."
Run around naked with an iPhone
For the
between his
show.
cheeks.
No. I don't
As
know
a
how
kid.
to answer that. Anyway,
That was weeks ago.
Oh no.
So, I was getting about like iPads everywhere, but some people have a F7 tablet. Why? And they're like, she was like, well, because it's. Why do I still have the iPad Pro 2018? It's like it's already paid for, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm still getting software updates. Like it's still running the latest and greatest today. It doesn't have the exclusive features, but who gives a crap? It's iPad. I can draw. I can do what I need to do. I can sign documents. And she goes, well, I get security updates and when I need it, and it's just there. I'm like, okay, Jay Leno, you take a look. But where were we going? Apple Watch. Not the first. Oh, iteration, not innovation.
Yes.
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 So cameras.
So it won't be a brand new camera feature, but it will be the best version of that camera feature?
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying?
And it just so happens to take better night mode somehow, maybe, or something. Or we're all, dude, Drew. Now I'm hooked. I want a cinematic video like this, but on like video,
app.
the camera app, post processed, which makes it even better. You can adjust the features even more. I want to be able to subject lift on videos. That's so cool. Oh my God.
That would be fascinating to watch. Someone just like, green screens are pointless now. It
Will
would come a long way from. Do you remember the old photo booth green screen effect on the old Macs that like never worked, even in perfect conditions?
No.
It wouldn't.
It
work.
always captures some pillow in the background.
we're killing off
Or
green screens. And it's an old color. Why? Courage.
Meanwhile, they're using green screens
No
on
more
their
green
set.
screen. Let me gauge,
Courage.
since we're on the topic of cameras, and I don't think we've mentioned this yet, but there's been a lot of rumors or, sources or whoever they are. It's hard to tell the difference between
People saying
fakers
things
and
online.
fakers these days. There's been people saying things online about this year being the year that the iPhone gets 8K video. Do you think they're going to pull that this year? Or is that all just marketing hype? Oh, wow. The glasses are coming off, ladies and gentlemen.
By the way, he put them on at the beginning of
here.
this.
I was getting a
It's
headache.
like-
And I was like, I need to put glasses. I'm straining too much trying to. Yeah, I was getting a headache. I need to put them on.
Have you seen those like Hitler rant videos?
That's why I was doing this.
Where he's doing
fingers. I was doing
he
the
takes
fingers.
the
I was like, I was about to go on
China.
this.
The 8K video is not coming to the iPhone this year.
My fear.
9.
Where is the iPhone 9?
I put my deposit down.
$100 refundable deposit. Yeah.
Where's my iPhone 999? Yes. All right. Whew.
All right.
Anyway, I was trying to do the Hitler finger.
All right.
Yeah, I was about to do this whole.
I
tangent.
haven't talked to Randy about 8K in probably months at this point, so I'm curious of your thoughts.
In
I
at
was
least
gonna do
8
a
months.
tangent, but now I'm out. Okay, so I changed my stance. I was gonna rant. Now I'm not ranting. Now I'm just gonna answer. 8K. I can't wait to read the comments on this one. 8K is pointless. Yeah. Oh my God! That's what cancels him.
Did he just say 8K is? No, I agree. Go on. Yeah,
I know, hot take, right? Nah, why? If you AK something, I love how I'm using it. If you AK something that punches in, it does this whole thing.
Cap.
That would be at that point, you might as well have your periscope lens, right? Like at that point, if you're just gonna punch in, just go all out with the hardware and put a new lens on there. Are you asking me, do I think it's coming, or the stance of it? Would Apple do it? What's actually your question about 8K with it?
I guess I'm asking, both. Like, do you think that's real? Like, would Apple go to 8K on the iPhone and actually sell that as a feature, or do you think that's all leakers just trying to think of, like, because obviously Galaxy phones have had it for a few years and it's not very good. I tried it; it was pretty messy.
Oh, it was terrible.
So there's a lot of debate on, like, would Apple get 8K right? And I'm kind of under the belief, I guess I should go first maybe, is that, like, it will happen, but I don't think it will be that much better. Like, I think it will purely just be a marketing thing just to say that we can do 8K. Should you? Probably not. Will it actually look that much different? Especially if we're talking about sensors this big on a phone. The difference between 4K and 8K is going to be so hard to tell. It's already kind of hard to tell between 4K and 1080p when you're on a phone.
It's like ProRes, man. Like, you talk about it just so you can say it, but are you using ProRes? Are you using raw photos? Some people are.
Marquez is for autofocus.
I was like, Marquez is definitely using it for autofocus. So that's who the 8K is for. But we always joke about that's the 8K guy anyway, you know? There's
all different kinds of 8K. For some, Taco Bell might be 8K. For some, the Model S might be 8K.
Listen, for average schmucks like you and me, I don't think 8K has much of a practical. Will they do it? If you're asking, will they do it? I don't see why they wouldn't. Will they fix it or get it right? They will be the most efficient at it, but it will have the same limitations as ProRes and RAW when it comes to file sizes. When it comes to, I'm not gonna do that on a Lightning port. Like that just doesn't make any sense to me. If we're talking dedicated cameras, which I'm starting to believe less and less that needs to be a thing with iPhones, then I would say hands down that would be a thing. Oh,
I was just like, don't fight me on the whole we need dedicated cameras thing, because I am passionate on that.
I'm team dedicated camera. I'm also team they're not going to fix iPad OS. Let's be real. We're in 2022. Like let's temper our reality and expectations. I don't see a need nor a desire of an iPhone, even if one that blows up in like camera bump and apertures and all that stuff way bigger than what the 13 or 14 will have. So iPhone 15, 16, and it's so in your face about it, like a ripening hot pimple that you can't stop staring at. Okay, that it's right there.
Ripening? Oh my god!
It's because
heard that description.
It's at the point of boiling. It jiggles a little when you walk. Like it's there. It's ready. Yeah.
Randy,
no, I'm not done. I'm not done. You asking, I will answer. When we get to that point,
I just had a cyst removed.
I keep forgetting about. That's a thing. That's a thing. So,
where's this gone?
I don't ever see a need of 8K to go on a smartphone that has Lightning, that has, even if it was a terabyte of storage, like the amount of informational like data that's just absorbing up the rest of your phone. Apple would have to address that part first and fix that part first. So, is it there? Yeah. Will people use iPhones as dedicated cameras? You're damn right we will. I plan on doing it. Hell yes, we will.
But will that replace the need for dedicated cameras?
And that's the thing. Now I go back on what we were talking about 20 minutes ago. I think Apple leans in on the post everything with software. I think that's where it will eliminate the need. I've been running, ladies and gentlemen, Ventura for over a month now, and I've used this every single day, every single podcast, and not once has it ever hiccup, bugged, or nothing. And this is peak Apple camera in true utility that I can actually do my job, get work done, and there's no hiccups. This right here is peak 2022 Apple in my mind. Or maybe it's 2021 with technically the hardware. 2021 hardware with 2022 software. This is phenomenal for what I needed to do to replace something. I haven't touched my Sony once, a true dedicated camera. I haven't used the webcam ever since I put Ventura on because I have this beautiful piece of machinery in front of me. So in that same sense, when 8K inevitably comes to something, because we have 6K monitors, like that's a thing. When we get to that point, that's not the selling point. It's this synergy between the different OSs and the hardware that's making it all work, and it's all in software at the end of the day that drives all that stuff forward. We know we can technically make the hardware work, but like you were kind of alluding to, Drew, and what you've done your own tests with, it's shot on an iPhone still with just the color that's like output on it, even on ProRes. When it's cinematic. All that stuff. It's still an iPhone thing. Yeah. It's not replacing your actual Blackmagic camera yet.
There was a bunch of people that got all excited because I was filming. I actually, because I wasn't flying or going that far, I brought my Blackmagic to my grandparents' house, and I started filming outside here, which I wasn't going to, but Randy, I just want to give credit. You said, that's awesome, you should film outside, because he's been here and he knows what it's like. He's like, you should film outside. I was like, okay, I guess he's right, because the lighting inside is terrible. And a bunch of comments after I did that were like, wow, the iPhone camera looks really good. I was like, no, guys, it's not,
beautiful.
It's not. Yeah. Maybe I should have just lied, right? Since I'm lying so much these days.
Yeah. That's a Model 3 joke, ladies and gentlemen.
But okay, we know how Randy feels. Mike, do you think 8K is pointless, or do you see yourself using like subject lift for videos or anything like that?
At least with, I don't know. My belief, at least with 8K coming to iPhone, is it's when they finally change up what they've got right now with the sensor. Right now, it's just been this weird stovetop square that keeps on growing in size every single year. When I first saw this camera sensor, I'm like, that is hilarious, big, and ridiculous. And it's only gotten more every single year ever since. So I think at least if 8K is coming, it'll come with a redesign of how they're going to lay out the cameras on the back of the phone. And how they're going to do that is going to be interesting, because if they're planning on people doing this continuity camera thing, they want at least the camera sensors to be aligned, or at least in the right placement for an optimal shot, versus having a camera lens in a spot where it doesn't really make sense, or the photo comes out weird, or you have a weird just issue with filming things. But I also agree 8K is somewhat ridiculous, thinking about what I'm staring at right now with a 4.5K display, and soon enough a 5K display, which I've still yet to order. Thank you, Apple Card. Okay. But even so, the human eye, as much as people will say they can see 8K, it's been proven by science that you can't see that much, or you can't see that far.
Depends on the size. Yeah.
So I think just optimizing what 4K can do right now is the best plan. And I don't think it's needed. I think what we discussed before with like nighttime lapse is a better way of approaching features or things that people will actually use, versus it now shoots at 8K, and of course the phone will default to HD at 30 for most shots, and then you have to actually go in there and default it, or redo the settings so it's shooting at 8K, and then it's just going to take up all the storage in your phone, and people will start complaining about storage, and then we'll get into the whole iCloud conversation again about how there's not enough storage on there. So I think the right approach is to push off on 8K. They can still do it in the lab, and still fiddle with
That's
it.
Fair.
But for now, as long as we've got this sensor, I don't think it makes sense to put an 8K sensor there. Much more better to tweak with what we've got right now, make it a little bit bigger, I guess, and figure out what we can add to the experience of owning an iPhone and what it can do, versus it can do what all other Androids do, but I don't know. People aren't really looking for that. They're looking for something that can be applied to everyday life that is useful, and some of the Android or features are useful, but there are a lot of Apple focused. Apple, what am I trying to say? Apple made
Apple sheep.
Apple. I've lost the words, but basically things that have come out of Apple, born from their software and hardware, that is exclusive to what they do, that Android only hopes to do, is what makes it special. So doing stuff like nighttime lapse is probably a better way to do it, or something else, or being able to green screen an environment into where you are without anything looking too bad. Because even so, when Randy uses this beta and has that artificial bokeh, it doesn't look bad. It looks pretty natural, versus some weird photo booth.
Looking good, Randy.
Yeah, I guess one compliment to you. Oh, and there's the fingies again.
Fingies.
Like, I hardly ever need to do that, but it just looks so cool whenever you do it.
So, and then when you go into center stage, and you could really get in there. Anyway. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
I agree with your statements, Mike. I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Drew,
we don't need to do what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
I think where Apple shines the brightest, it goes back to actually two things that Drew said. Let's just give Drew all the credit here. Yeah. First one is I don't know what I said before or if we even made the stance, but I do agree with, I think the 14 Max is going to be the best seller. I think that's going to win.
Yeah.
I don't know if I said that one before, but that's the one I do believe. And something that Drew said a couple episodes ago, or maybe a couple months ago, I don't know anymore. But it's back in my head, rent free.
Always me, rent free.
Right. The whole people don't care about all the bells and whistles, and they just want to they want to be the parent at the graduation with the digital Zoom, and that's fine. And like that. Yeah, that whole pinching. You want to use mine? Why? No. That scenario is so humanizing and it's so real that ever since you've told that story, Drew, I kind of look at everything through that lens because I'm like, that is the normal person. That's not us. That's what's it like to be, a regular human. Us as ascendant beings, we wouldn't know, but to humble ourselves for a minute, to be a normal, we call them normies. I'm like, oh, that's what they care about. Apple's brightest moments, they shine the brightest when they bring all the cool features on the 13 Pro. Now comes to the 14 regular. All this speculation of whatever the cameras are going to be like this year does not matter until they bring it to the regular iPhones, because regular iPhones are the bread and butter that sell, because it's that right price point for most people. And that's only when it comes to the time of upgrading. And you got to make those upgrades worth it. You're not really you're not looking for what's featured on the Pros, because the Pros change every single year. There's been no consistent Pro. It's the base model that will have a follow through to the next year and the year after. We've lost the Pros since the first Pro, which was 11. Since then, we have not had a consistent Pro every year. The Pro is just flashing, this is what this year's iPhone is about if you want to go all out. But that's not what sells the most. The 10R is what sold the most. The 11 is what sold the most. The 12s. And I know that sound all too well.
It's saying it's hot.
No.
Yeah. No way.
In California.
Is there an Intel CPU in here? What? When you turn on the heater, it just plays the ding 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 ding.
It works off of M2.
So, no, you want an M1 Pro, M1 Max, Ultra. But anyway, that's the one that needs.
Chip.
So, whatever happens this year, people are just going to be excited about the stuff that happened with the phones that, the 13 Pros that are going to inevitably roll to the 14s regular, and so that probably means that the pros are going to get cinematic mode 60, frames per second, and some and all that fun. And this will be the HDR and they'll do all that stuff, and they'll bring most of that stuff to trickle down to regular iPhones, and that is when Apple. I think because we experiment with the pros of last year's to see what the regular phones are this year, when you get something like 8K on a regular iPhone, that's when you know they nailed it, because now that's the standard. That's the baseline of it all.
Nailed it's an interesting description. I feel like if they go to 8K on any iPhone, it's because they've given up. I feel like ProRes has now been achieved, and I was kind of disappointed by it. Like, not that itself looked bad. ProRes video still looks really good. It's just that HEVC doesn't look that much worse.
Yeah.
And it's like a fraction of the size. And once that regular codec was performing so well, I was like, why would I waste time with ProRes and make it take longer to film and buy higher storage configurations and take longer to airdrop when HEVC looks as good as it does? I've recorded a lot of my videos with my iPhone, of course, in HEVC, and I never just really felt the need to be like, well, I need to shoot it at ProRes because it's a professional it's like, no, it's just the efficient codec is really good. And while ProRes is useful on bigger cameras when they're capturing a lot more data, regardless of the codec that you're recording on with your iPhone, it's still the same sensor, it's still the same lens, and there's only so much it can get out of that. So to me, like, back when they announced it, I was really pumped for it, and I was like, ProRes makes a lot more sense than 8K, because it's making, kind of like what Mike was saying, it makes better use of the camera hardware we have. It's not just about cramming more pixels into the video and saying, there, it's 8K, therefore it's better. It's like, no, the limiting factor, the thing preventing iPhone cameras from getting better. Sorry, I know I say the limiting factor all the time.
Say the line, Bart.
What else can I say? Osborne effect.
You haven't said that in a while.
I'm worried about the Cybertruck.
White bezels, air power's dead. Yeah, I'll say all the things. But
Marquez, come on our show.
Still waiting the day after we have him on the show. Marquez
come on the show.
Come back on the show. Yeah. No, like, the thing preventing iPhone cameras from looking better is not the resolution. Like, it's not the number of pixels that they're capturing. It's the quality of those pixels. Yeah. So, to me, if they do come forward and say, yes, now it has an 8K sensor, it's, okay, you're not actually really trying to make it look better. You're just coming up with, like, marketing terms now. You just want it to sound better, because when you go to the compare page with the iPhones and the tech specs, you can say, this one shoots in 8K and this one doesn't. Therefore, that's higher resolution, and that A16 chip is capable of doing that. So it's, to me, it's going to become, but the truth is ProRes really ended up becoming that too, because once I actually had it and tested it, I was like, doesn't look that much different. I mean, it gets a bit more color data, but even when I was watching the side-by-side comparisons of, like, this is the iPhone with ProRes, this is your brain on drugs, no, this is the iPhone on HEVC, and I was watching the two videos, and I was like, yeah, I mean, YouTube's compressing it anyway. How many people are actually watching, like, ProRes video that doesn't get compressed by an online platform of some kind? Like, how often is that happening? Like, you're just sharing a video that you recorded, now you're putting it on your studio display straight off that, or maybe Vimeo supports higher bitrate, I don't know, but yeah, I just feel like 8K is the sign they've given up.
That whole compare is spot on. They need something to show the comparison of it, because it's the only way, because Drew's gonna melt in his car. Oh
wow!
Remember I told you about the window trick? If they bring 8K to this phone this year, that's nice. That's the only, it's only for the side by side compare feature, and we know it's only to compare it to really upsell it, because the upgrades this year are so little, and really there's not a need to upgrade until probably iPhone 15 or 16, really.
I guess while Drew is totally refrigerating his car, interpreting this his image or the teaser image that Apple put out, a very silly / realistic interpretation of it is it's just another color for the HomePod. It's just a nice little starlight color for those that want a tannish silver looking HomePod in their home to match their tan walls and all that. And they're just going to zoom into one of those stars. It's like a nice little yellow, was it class G? I forget. It's been a while since astronomy. But they'll just do that. We talk all about these camera sensors and all that just because of the teaser image. No, it's actually just because of a new HomePod mini color. Or it's the teaser of what people keep on speculating online is a new HomePod, the replacement of the original HomePod. And maybe it's got this nice little starlight look to it, or at least like this star field look where it's speckled white on a black surface and all that. Or it's the top of a HomePod. Instead of like the cool little colors, it's just sparkles, which isn't a bad idea. But I don't know. That's a very silly, dumb theory that this image could be on face value portraying. And again, everyone's kind of going a little bit too deep on the idea of, oh, well, it's stars around the Apple logo. It has to be camera on the iPhone and all that. No, it could just be a HomePod.
What do you think, Drew? You gonna buy the watch?
Could be a lock screen. Could just be wallpaper.
Yo,
That's
could
all
be
this is
wallpaper.
hype for.
It could be
because there's always on display is rumored to be a thing for this
I
generation.
heard.
So
Yeah. Do we care about that?
Randy's like, tell me what to think.
Tell me, Shepard. Should I care? Because I don't.
You're not sold on always on display. You can't visualize it with iOS 16 with the clock and everything.
I can, but it maybe when it's like MagSafe mounted or something like that, that it can be. I don't really know. With the watch, it's kind of cool just to have the time showing. But even then, I turn off. I go back and forth just because I'm paranoid about battery health. It's my toxic trait. I can't make up my mind if I want always on or off, or sometimes on display. But with the phone, it's cool to have it just to have it. But the people who say, bring it to this is what they want. This is what people are trying to say. They want to be able to look over at their phone. And while the screen is off, they want different illuminated lights based off of what notifications they have. And maybe a clock. You know, they want the time. They want to see if they have any notifications without touching the phone. It's over there. It's like, okay, it's right there. And then they look back. And if that's the problem Apple was trying to solve, they kind of already solved it in other ways. They definitely solved it if you're in the ecosystem. Lord knows. How many, show of hands, audience, how many people have at least 2 or more hardware devices with different OSs in the ecosystem that as soon as you get a phone call, it goes to every single device. Oh my God. Like, they solved the problem about if you're not going to miss a notification. Now, let's simplify that a bit more. The best companion to the iPhone, which is the other thing that will be announced in next week, 2 weeks from now, Apple Watch. They solved the notification problem by looking at your watch, and it's right there. It's on. You slide down, you see the notification, you swipe up. Anything that's mirrored on the phone is going to be brought to the watch. So they kind of solved that. So when people want an always-on display, it's not because they want to look at their pretty wallpaper, which, sure, you can do it. People do it with their Macs, but what they want is they want to see, did I miss any notifications? People who are addicted to the notifications. Oh, latest pop-up of people did something on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. Text message, phone call, and what's the time? They can look at that. That's what they're really saying.
Oh, yeah, the time.
They don't really... And the time. Because I can't see the time right here on my Mac or on my watch or wherever else. They just want to look at it. But that's what they're saying. They want to see if I get notified.
How many times have you seen someone been like on their phone for a long time and then been like, what time is it?
Never. People want another solution, a more passive solution about notifications. That's what they want. But I think Apple has already addressed that issue based off of what they've been doing with notifications and the scroll reel, or how you even want to be notified on certain things. Deliver quietly, do not disturb. They have all these different variances on notifications that the stuff that you need to be notified for will be notified for. And if it's about like, I don't want to touch the phone, that's what the whole ecosystem's for, with the watch, with the iPad, with the Mac. It's there. So that's why I'm not sold on always on. To have the hardware just do it, of course it could just do it. We all know that. But
you could do it now, technically.
You can do it now. It's OLED.
Yeah.
That's not why they don't do it. It has to solve the problem of notifications, which I think has already been addressed. And if I'm wrong, if someone's like, I just have an iPhone, well, then that's how Apple's trying to upsell you. It's called Business 101. I mean, I don't know what to tell you at that point.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah. All these other guys
liked always on display.
with the Androids and stuff, all these other guys have always on displays, maybe because they don't have the best companion accessory of notification, whether it's a watch, whether they have different ways of. Android is not. I mean, how many people are using a Chromebook or something, and and even then, I don't even know how that ecosystem communicates. I was led to believe
Not
they're
very
kind
well,
of isolated.
from what I can see.
Yeah. So you have people who have like, well, my Galaxy. They do that because that's really all they really got to work with, and they're emphasizing the best that they can make work on that, platform, on that ecosystem. Apple doesn't have that problem. So I wanted always on display at one point on a phone, but now it's like the problem's been solved.
I see.
Yeah.
Are you still looking for it, Mike, or
always on display on a phone? Nah. I'm fine with.
Nah.
Well, I mean, just for instance,
'cause you had Androids before that could do it, right?
I had the Pixel 2 XL, which I don't know if it could or couldn't, but I never really. I mean, I guess the closest I got or the one that I remember the most was the S7 Edge, and they were adamant on selling the feature of your phone is face down, and you've got that edge, and a little notification light right there kind of shows you what's going on.
I remember.
And I never
used it. They were so proud of that.
And even so, like, they had like the little edge
exactly
menu and everything. And I'm like, why would I use the edge menu when I could just quickly unlock the phone with the fingerprint sensor and then just tap on the app there? No clue.
That's how I felt about. People have kept trying to do that. Even today, like with the Nothing phone, they're like, so when the phone is face down, if you get a notification from this app, then the lights go, and if you get a notification from this app, they go, and I'm like, or here's a crazy one. You flip it over and you can just read exactly what it says, and you know what the notification is. You don't have to memorize some Morse code or something to try to notify you. Like, people aren't just staring at the back of their phone on a table. Oh, yes, that pattern means my mom texted. Instead, I just go, oh.
It's like Morse code. My mom texted me, dinner will be ready at 7.
Again, accessories, AirPods fix the problem. It reads you the text immediately. It just fixes the problem. And let's be really real about it. The people who want all that stuff, like, you're already addicted to your phone. You're already on your phone. You are checking. How many times do you open up Snapchat to open, you just have that tick. You just kind of do it because it's just, you've been trained, muscle memory to do it. You're already on your phone. You want it because you want to say you can do it, but it's kind of like
it's
Stage Manager.
Box to check.
It's there, but
it's there. So I take it, Randy, are you not terribly excited for the iPhone 14? Are you still excited? I know Mike's ready. Mike's due for an upgrade. It's about time.
I'm trying to kick it before it launches because it's the same dance. I'm going to see it. I'm going to drool. I'm going to want it because they're going to do something with the camera, and I'm going to be kicking myself like, don't do it. And for once, I am genuinely happy, and I'm just 2 weeks out in advance. I'm still trying to hold myself accountable. But I can say confidently, no matter what happens, I am not getting rid of this phone. Period. I'm not. So,
like, you're not getting rid of the 11 Pro either, right?
This is the successor to the 11 Pro.
So, the only way you'd get rid of that phone is if a better phone that was also green came out. What if you could get a 14 Pro Max in that shade of green?
I actually
Or more
want this to
muted
be my
green.
last green phone.
What?
What? Your last green phone? How is that possible?
Branding.
Changing it up.
I-
You're going to silver next. Okay.
Ooh.
No. If we're just talking aesthetics now, just cosmetic changes to whatever
Yeah.
phone, iPhone 15, I would like to skip 14 just as a out of principle. I just want to do it to say that I can do it. I'll review it, and
Glad
maybe
I
I can get.
inspired you.
Yes, you did, man. Yes, you did. I want to scratch the itch. I
Original
want to play with
fonts.
it, and then I want to return it. I don't want to want it because I'm happy. I'm happy with the phone.
Yeah.
But now if we're just talking aesthetics, anything cosmetic, if there's a Pro product red, that's gonna push me. That's gonna push me.
That's gonna push me too.
If there's a like true matte black, not space gray, but if we have a Pro black, that's gonna push me. That's sexy. And green's my favorite color. Wonder, can tell. But
What? Huh.
I like
know
the
that.
idea of cooler tones in general. So I did like that periwinkle blue, Sierra blue. That was a cool blue. I liked that blue a lot. I like iPhone 12's purple. And if purple's the color for the Pro this year, I like the color purple. So it just to mix it up the same way I want to hold on to this phone a little bit longer, I would want my next phone to not be green, to just add a little bit of diversity to the lineup there of mixing it up. And I say that in the context that, like, I'm not going to get rid of this phone until something can actually replace it. I would have been like Mike and kept the 11 Pro,
I
green.
want to be more like Mike and have a phone for many years.
Pacific.
Instead of
No, what
just
was it
one.
called? Midnight green. I would keep the midnight green. And had I not fell in love with the Mini so intense, I would have stayed with the green because that was the most comfortable phone I ever held. And this was the proper successor to it in color and everything that I ever wanted. And I'm actually, like, really, really happy with all the tech and everything that has to do with it. But then Apple finds a way to sell you on the software with exclusivities, and here's what the camera can do. And I don't want to be happy about the 14, but
You want to be disappointed.
I do because it's so
Is that a paradox? Hoping
it's so
for
obvious. It's
less.
not even
Yeah.
exciting.
makes
I
him
was
a
more excited
masochist.
about the Mac. Mac was the best point of last year of 2021, and software was exciting this year for 2022. I don't want to upgrade out of principle because it's so anticipated. And another way you inspired me, Drew, is that what how intense of a difference do we need from iPhone to iPhone for me to merit that's worth the upgrade? For you, promotion. For me,
That was it.
for me it was just the advancements of the camera. The difference between you and me, Drew, is that you are now set, and I am chasing an ever set high on advancements in cameras. And
And for Mike, it's not freezing for 2 minutes.
That's
his
weird.
standard.
That one's weird. I gotta admit, kind of weird. For Nick, it's like the touch bar or something.
For Nick, it's until the battery lasts a year on a charge. Until then,
Until then.
he's going to upgrade and get the best battery life he can get every
Something.
single generation.
Yeah. So,
And
I
the
mean,
camera, too.
how do I stop chasing an ever-moving target with camera advancements? It always improves, and it's because of the software. I vote with my dollar. I just be like, I'll wait until something more worthwhile. I don't care about a redesigned phone. I don't care if we bring in iPhone 4 looking whatever. I don't care about any of that. I care just about the thank you, Mike. Show and tell time. I just care about the product. We're past the point of caring or not caring. It's all software related stuff. It's just I care about the software.
Fair enough. Well, We appreciate your guys' insight. We got one more episode, I think, before the actual event, but hopefully, I don't know if it's possible, but we'll try to do a recap as soon as we can. We appreciate you all for watching, and we can't wait to tune in again next week. Have a good one, all. Bye-bye.